Hey everyone, and welcome to my 8th Patreon funded how-to video. This month I thought I'd take a quick break from all the Tunisian lace techniques to show you a more generic crochet technique which may help you out when you're working on the round. This is a magic loop method I'm about to show you that's more sturdy and reliable than the average magic loop method that you may know and love already. It's a little more complex than your basic magic loop, but trust me, after a little bit of practice, I'm sure you'll actually love it as much as I do. We're going to work with the tail like so, and we're going to rest it over the palm of my hand like so. I'm going to get rid of my ring finger and my little finger, and I'm going to focus on my index and my middle finger there. I'm going to turn my hand towards me, and that will actually show me the direction of the wraps and which way they're going to go. If I wrap in the opposite direction, or the wrong direction in this case, I'll lose my yarn. So I know that I have to wrap in the direction that preserves that wrap and adds 2 more. So you've got 3 on your hand rolling out towards the tips of your fingers. I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to put it underneath the first 2 in the direction that my fingers are pointing. It's a good hint. So underneath the first 2, and I'm going to pick up the third. And the object here is to pick up the third and pull it back underneath the first 2, making a loop on your hook. So this is going to be the first sort of loop that you're going to be working with. I'm going to rest the hook on the side of my index finger and hold onto it with my thumb, so my working hand is entirely free. At this point, I'm going to add a chain stitch on my hook here to secure everything in place. Now I've got 2 loops that I can work on instead of the traditional 1. And the advantage to this is that this won't actually stretch out all over the place. I find with a basic magic loop, with 1 loop there, I'm constantly wrestling against that 1 strand of yarn and constantly having to tighten it every time I do a stitch or 2. With this method, that won't be a problem at all because it's sturdy enough to withstand a little bit of pressure. So in this case, I'm just going to add a couple of double crochet stitches on here so I can show you how to pull the whole thing together. So that's 3, 4, I'll add in 5 in total because it's a nice big number. So there we go. So you've got 5 double crochet stitches on top of your work here. Now the key to this at this point is to ensure that they're all pushed together. So bundle it from the last one you did, push towards the first one you did, so you end up with a little diamond ring type shape here. If you don't do this, what may happen if they're all stretched out is that they'll actually roller coaster around, and when you pull everything tight you'll lose stitches on the inside of the loop itself, and that's no use of course because you actually need them to crochet into. So if we pull them all together like that, they have a tendency to fan out so that they won't roller coaster in on your work. And at this point we're not going to be using our hook for a little while, so I'm going to make that loop nice and big and put the hook itself down so I can focus on what I have in my hands. So now, the lay of the land, we have got our tail here and we've got 2 loops that we've been working on. Now we know that tail is connected to one of those loops, which is connected to the other loop itself. So we have a bit of a spiral on our hands here. If I pull this tail, it'll show me which of those 2 loops will be the easiest to get rid of. And you can see there now that one of those loops has indeed gotten a lot smaller. The other one hasn't moved at all though. So what we're going to do is use the smaller loop and I'm going to pull it in the direction that will get rid of the bigger loop, but not the tail. If I pull in the wrong direction and the tail starts disappearing, I need to stop and focus on the other side of the loop and pull that instead. That will get rid of loop number 2. And then I am free to pick up the tail and pull, 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 pull until that first loop disappears as well. And that'll give you a perfect, pretty little magic loop center like so. Now, even though you've gone around twice with the yarn, I still recommend you sew your ends in because that wouldn't be strong enough now to leave it as is and just cut your ends. But at least it's a lot sturdier and it'll leave you so you don't have to wrestle with your magic loops quite so much when you're working them up first. So that's the method I use. I hope you give it a try. If you do, let me know in the comments below this video or over on my Patreon page. I'd love to know how you get on. And remember, videos like this are only made possible with your help, so please do visit my Patreon page and consider making a pledge. Thanks a million for watching. See you next month.